Great. So the point of this morning's webinar is we're going to run over the release that we recently came out with, release 1.7. Now, we did have a list of release notes that we came out with, but we figured it would be worth going over the release and answering any questions that you may have around any of the features that we've added. All right. So what I will do now is I'll share the Google Chrome here. And so if we go to our support center, right at the top of the page, we have this section that says, check out the Aimy plus 1.7 features. And you just click on the link here, and it will take you to the article, which is just like the release email that was sent out, all right? So it just covers everything. We have videos and articles that you can go and watch from here, and also information about any additional features, okay? So what we're going to do today is just go through some of the features that we have released in the system with the release of 1.7, all right? So the first one is the safety improvements around child sign out. So if we go to pick up sign out children, so if we go sign in, we will just sign a couple of kids into after school care here. All right, tick, tick, tick. All right, and then if we go to sign out, does take about, well, since the one of our updates, it does take a few seconds to load the sign out, just based on the user speed, just so we made it faster in terms of being able to sign out quickly. It does, there is a tiny bit of delay there, all right? So what we've got here is you can require the site's PIN for the sign out of children with custody information. So if I open up a new tab here, you will see under parent management, all right, so if I go to child management here, you'll see beside each child, there is this lock. You'll be able to see it just along the side here. Essentially what that lock is it refers to, is the child required a PIN at the time of sign out? Can you see the screen child management at the moment? You should be able to. Nothing on your screen. Okay, what I'll do is okay. Let's share this one. Here we go. All right, so you can see child management now. You should be able to. Essentially, what we are looking at is the screen of child management, and on the right-hand side, we have these locks along the right-hand side. So what these locks essentially show is whether or not the child needs a PIN at the time of sign out. So if we go and lock some of the children here, I will go check which children we had on sign out. So Bradley, Florence. Okay, so Florence Adams is one of those children. What we will do is just click that lock there, so we make sure that Florence Adam needs a PIN at the time of sign out. So if I share the sign out here, and I'll refresh the page, so I'll go back, and once again into the sign out. If I go to Florence's name and I click tick, you'll see that suddenly we need a PIN to sign the child out. All right, so now it does give us the authorized pickup just as it would otherwise have been, but you'll see if I, for instance, tick Bradley, it will just bring up those sections without the nothing on screen. Oh gosh, okay. Let me do this one. I will share the top, so you'll be able to see my screen here. All right. Yeah, so you'll be able to see exactly what I'm seeing, all right? So what we have here is for Florence, if I click on the tick, you'll see that it requires a master PIN before you can get to your authorized pickups, whereas normally, as I tick for Bradley here, it will just require a tick to get to those authorized pickups. Now, the idea with this functionality is that for your staff, for your children that have custody cases, it's a wise idea to make sure that parents or authorized pickups are screened on site for being. And essentially what this allows is for a parent or an authorized pickup to have to go through a program manager to sign a child out, which just adds an extra layer of security, okay? All right, can you see? Okay, well, you can see what I see now. Great, all right. Technical difficulties aside. The other one that we have added is the ability to view non-authorized pickups straight from your sign out. All right, so you can see here that we have a list of authorized pickups. Add authorized pickup here. It looks a little bit different to the way it did before, just with the text there, but same functionality as it's always been. But we've also added a section here, view non-authorized pickups. So what this allows us to see is straight from this screen that there is a non-authorized pickup in the system. If we click on that and enter our site's PIN, what that will then do is bring up all the confidential child info. So same as if we had clicked the name of the child, it brings up all their contact details, medical conditions, but also shows the authorized, unauthorized pickups at the bottom there. All right. So that's the idea with the functionality around these. Just move this to the side here. That's the idea with the increased security for children being signed out. Okay. All right, so the next one that we will look at is batch booking. All right, so we've done quite a few changes around here in terms of the ease of use for these features. Most notably, we've done the ability to have default batch book children. So you'll see here that we have removed at the bottom of the booking manager. So any booking that comes into the system, we can straight from the booking manager click remove from rollover. So essentially what that means is we've got rollover intended. It means this booking has been marked as a rollover booking, and always in the future it will come up as a rollover. It's easy to remove that. All it requires for us to do is click remove from rollover, and you'll see that the rollover intended flag here then disappears. Just to add it to rollover, all it takes for us is to click to the add to rollover button, and it will then add it to the system to be rolled over. All right. So if we go into batch booking here, that's where these will all show. So you will have here a list of all the programs, the bookings to be rolled over. You can see are all marked here as yes. To change them again, so it's the same with the booking manager. You can toggle if they are going to be rolled over or not. Same with this. All it takes is for us to tick that yes and click OK. And what it will then do is set it as no for this parent. What I'll do is I'll set it as yes again, just to show you how that displays. Okay. What we also have here is the ability to view our default rollover parents. So if I click on default rollover parents, these are all the parents in the system that have been marked as default rollover, okay? So when we, in the booking manager or in that page, or the batch booking page just before, when we set those as yes, they will then populate in here, all right? So parents added here will automatically have all their bookings, both new and existing, marked as rollover intended. So if we select the parent, let's say Jason here, and for after school care, update. What that means is any booking that's made by Jason now in the system will be marked as a booking rollover. All right, so it's an easy way for you to be able to keep track of which parents in your system automatically have their bookings rollover and which don't. Okay. Another change that's quite a massive one for the batch booking is the ability to roll over holidays. So it's just the same process as if you were going to roll over a term, just the functionality to roll over a holiday wasn't available before, whereas now we've added it just to make it a lot easier to book into new holidays from previous ones. And where you'll find most of the time saving for that is full-time bookings into holidays rather than part-time holiday bookings, okay? All right. I have a question here. If a parent has 3 regular days booked and they make a casual booking for 1 day, will this roll over? 3 regular days and they make a casual booking for 1 day. Sure. It won't automatically roll over. So you're asking, will the casual days show up in batch booking? Are you for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week? They only need Friday. Okay. So what it will do is it will show those as separate records. With the default rollover parent, what I should say is it won't automatically roll the booking over. It will automatically recommend you to roll the booking over. So you'll see here for to rollover yes, these are default rollover parents in our system. It will still require us to go through like this and start batch booking and go through the process of a batch booking into a program however we'd like to do it. So for holidays, you'd book into the holiday. The difference being is that we are now aware of which children should be, or which bookings should be done by default, or which parents should be booked in by default as rollovers, as opposed to which parents shouldn't. So that will then show is if you have regular bookings and a casual booking, is that they will show as separate records in the system. Where the real time saving for this is going to be will be for, in terms of holidays, will be, for instance, if you have a full-time booked parent. So if a parent books full-time, so what that will then do is it means you can take all the parents in the system who are booked for the Monday to Friday for the 2 weeks and then book them over into the new holidays, and it will just save you a lot of time from having to do those default ones over and over again. For the more specific ones, you likely still, if you were going to do that for a parent, you'd likely still go do that by clicking view here. So if I go holidays, term 2 holidays, see if we have bookings in here, and you'd go view. So you can see for this holiday, we just have a Tuesday that's booked in here for week 2. We just click book this child, and we'll holidays, book them in for the week 2 of our program, all right, on the Tuesday, week 2, full day. So that's essentially how you do a more specific one, just based on the fact that specific ones, either a parent will want it different to how they had it last time, but it is mostly for the more generic Monday to Friday examples, okay? Along with that as well, for the finding out if an example is generic or not, we have non-template and template bookings. If a booking is used with a template, very often it'll be a common booking, so you can actually see easily which ones will be more of your fiddly bookings with the non-template versions. And for the template bookings, it'll be easy to see which ones are more generic and easier to batch book. Okay. All right. We will move on to some of the other features in the system. Just because I'm aware of the time here. Why would admin creating holidays manually? Sure. So yeah, the idea is that parents do make bookings in the system for themselves. What the batch booking feature actually allows you to do as admin is for parents who, for instance, refuse to book into the system themselves, or they struggle to, you can actually do it on their behalf. So that's what the batch booking feature is meant for. If your parents are the kind of parents that go and book in themselves, then I suppose this is not something that you'll need to worry about at all. This is designed for when admin do bookings on parents' behalf, right? Okay, so we'll move on to the Oscar tracking on the mobile, right? So you'll see here we have a Oscar tracking icon as we've always had. If I click on Oscar tracking, you'll see we've given the ability to look at the Oscar tracking forms or the review list. We're going to go to the review, the tracking forms. Now here we have a list of all the children that are in our site under Oscar tracking. So we have children under application, declaration, change of circumstance. There'll also be renewal, which isn't showing here just because we don't have any children in this site that fall into renewal, okay? The idea for this one is it's very easy to see what the next step in the process is. So we've got the form type, so declaration. You can see the next action here is to receive from parent. Once we receive this form from a parent, on-site will mark it as received. You'll see that's now changed from received from parent to sign and return to parent. So say we've signed it, we've returned it to the parent, we click on return. All right. The next step in the process would be confirmation of lodgement. Once it is lodged with WINS, we can just click lodged. And you can see here, now we're waiting approval. So at this point, we are waiting for WINS to give us the approval that for the subsidy, that we have the declaration. So at this point, we can't actually do anything here. It needs to be updated from the desktop. All right, so the idea with this is that you are able to mark each step in the process for OSCAR tracking very easily, very smooth from the processes that we've set up as default. Same with change of circumstance, same process. If they receive from parent, they'll click received. Once we've received it from the parent, we then sign and return to parent. Once that's done, you click return, all right? So it just gives you the ability on site to be able to carry out marking each of these OSCAR tracking steps, just an easier way for you on site to be able to keep track of that, okay? All right, let's go back to our desktop version. So another thing that we've added since the release is the police clearance and first aid report. So essentially this report shows you all the upcoming expiry dates of your police clearance and your first aid certifications. So if we run the report here, okay. Just wait for it to load here. So you can see here at our client demo site, we have a list of all the different staff members that we have in our system. So we've got their email, their full name, police clearance, and first aid certified. All right, so you'll see here, for instance, on this one, police clearance for our driver demo will expire on Tuesday, March the 6th, 2018. Same with first aid certified. If there's no record for police clearance, we do flag it based on the fact that on site you would want all your staff to have police clearance, so we do mark that there, all right? So this is just a way for you to be able to easily see when the upcoming dates for those are, okay? All right, so moving on, we have a new ability to edit a booking, being able to remove sessions in a date range. So if we go to our booking manager, okay, I have a question here. When staff use the mobile app, does Aimy email the client for OSCAR tracking? Right, for the different steps. What Aimy will do is it will put into process, it'll act exactly the same as it would with the normal OSCAR tracking processes. So where it would start to put things into motion is, for instance, those 3-week emails, the 4-week, 3-week, 2-week, and 1-week emails for something like OSCAR declarations, that would automatically go into process. As for emailing them at the point of confirmation, you will be able to check here. If I go to organizations and I go to our, if I go to the custom notifications, we'll be able to see all the notifications that are sent from our system. So for instance, OSCAR, approval email, request email for parents. All right, so at that point, yes. So what it essentially does is when that is marked, it will put that step in motion, and the appropriate emails will be sent based on that. Okay, cool. So we can, the ability to not send emails isn't something that we have in our OSCAR application, declaration and change of circumstance fields, but it's something we can look at in the future. With the way it's set up currently is to send these emails out by default. All right, so when we go into the booking manager, So we go into the booking manager here. We go to edit a booking. So if we go edit booking here, we will now try to remove sessions for specific date ranges. So we've always had the ability, or we've had for quite some time now, to remove a booking. I'll find a booking with more dates in it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So if we edit this booking, previously, we had the ability to remove sessions from today onwards. Now, we've expanded that functionality based on the fact that it may not necessarily be today that you want to remove bookings for. It may be for a certain day onwards. So if we click remove bookings, what it defaults to is the current day, so 13th of September, to the end of the booking period, which is the 23rd. So it defaults to the same functionality as it was before, which is just remove the bookings from today onwards. But if you wanted to, for instance, remove it from a week earlier, all it would take is for you to adjust that and click remove. All right, and you can see here what it's done is it's removed those sessions from this. You can see for these 3 weeks that it's removed those sessions, okay? So that's the new functionality around being able to easily bulk remove days from a booking. We've added a couple of other things that's worth noting. The first one is that in the parent dashboard, if you go to impersonate a parent, we'll go to John Apple. If you impersonate a parent, it does show the current amount owing right at the top of the dashboard, so a parent is aware of how much is left owing in their site, okay? So the idea with that is that before we had no way for a parent to see how much they owed in total. We've just pulled that figure there to the top of the dashboard to inform the parent about how much they currently owe in the system, okay? Other things we've added is for anyone that's not using Xero, when a booking is cancelled in Aimy, a credit note with the full amount of the booking will be issued. Also, that's for Xero and non-Xero users. Whenever a booking is cancelled in Aimy, we now, before we didn't issue a credit note for that booking. Now what we do is we issue a credit note for the full amount of the booking, allowing it to cover the amount owing on that invoice that you have left in Xero or in your accounting software, just so that you don't have to cancel that or void that invoice in your accounting, all right? And then the other thing we've added is the ability for staff and admin to update their own terms and conditions. So if at any point that you want to update your terms and conditions, all it requires is for you to go into admin, organizations, so we'll have to go to head office here actually. So I'm going to switch over to Aimy head office. All right, so we get admin organizations. And then you'll see here under terms and conditions, we click here to update. And all it takes for us is we can type terms and conditions, save. And now for our Aimy head office level, these terms and conditions will be the ones that populate for parents when they come to make a booking in your network. All right, so it's that easy to update your terms and conditions now. That's just so that we don't have to go back and forward with support. So if you need to change your terms and conditions, it's not a hard task to go back and forward between support, okay?